And welcome everyone back to Portland Meadows, our preview for Tuesday, February the 22nd, a 9-race card. And glad to see back to some big fields and some really good wagering options. A couple weeks of slow days at the entry box, but certainly the entries now coming back to fruition here at Portland Meadows, a 9-race card. My name is Jason Beam. I'm the track announcer out here. And I wanted to talk about a couple of the races, and one of them that does start the pick 4 is race number 6. And there is a horse in here named Asnon, who comes out of probably one of the worst trips of the season I've seen for a horse here, and is certainly going to get a lot of play off that. One thing you hear a term amongst handicappers is trip handicappers. And these are people who watch the replays of the race, watch the races over and over again, and look for horses that maybe had bad trips and had a lot of trouble in the race, and thinking that maybe, well, a lot of people are going to say, well, they finished second, third, fourth that day, but it was because they had a lot of trouble. They should improve next time out. As not, if you read the last PP from February 9th, it was race 5 here at Portland Meadows, a 1.70-yard event, a $2,500 claiming race, which this race is as well. And the horse was off slow, basically was left at the starting gate and did not get off to a good start. Came out well behind the rest of the field. In fact, at the first call, the quarter mile into the race was 7th and 10 lengths behind. And that does not even tell the story. The comment says off slow, 4 wide, bid at the 5/16. And the horse broke slowly, and as it was going around the first turn, another horse was being pulled up out of the race and was lunging out, and it pushed Asnon out to probably, I'd say, the 6 or 7 path as they were midway on the first turn, and the horse just lost a ton of ground. So from that point, after being basically back last, the horse makes a real big bold move at the half-mile pole and actually takes the lead midway on the far turn after losing all that ground, being off slow, had to rush up. Had the lead all the way through mid-stretch and finally got caught in the last few yards by a horse named Armed Service. They were really tired coming home. The final quarter mile that day was showing here basically about 30 seconds for the final quarter mile. So they were really struggling that day. It was a severe headwind into their face that day, so that's part of it. But Asnon, certainly with a lot of reason to be tired after all the trouble that he encountered, still ran a gutsy second that day. Jockey Mark Anderson now gets on board for trainer Pat Jarvis. I think this is a horse that's really, really a good one to play back. Plus, cutting back the 70 yards to a flat mile probably will help this horse. Also, being down toward the inside at the start should help this horse as well. So keep an eye out for Asnon in the 6th race on Tuesday as a possible trip horse. That's a horse that you're watching coming out of a race that was, a lot of trouble, a lot of traffic, a lot of difficulty, and now comes back into its next start. A lot of folks are going to bet this horse strictly off that performance, but it is a handicapping angle that I like to point out to especially the new folks who are just coming into racing. It's very important to watch the replays and see what happens. I mean, you have the past performances in front of you. They tell a lot, but they do not tell the entire story. I'm a big believer in watching the replays. Another mile event for race number 7. The 8th and featured event is a $2,500 claiming event. Some interesting runners in this race. Creek Valley, I thought, ran a pretty credible race last time out, and looks to be one who's got a chance. West Coast Topper didn't fire as much last time under jockey Troy Stillwell. Gets its third rider, or new rider, goes back to Luis Torres, who ran a nice second on this horse. I think the switch to Luis, maybe the horse gets a little bit long, a little bit better with him. But Troy off this horse, Luis Torres now back on that runner, so it'll be interesting to see if the jockey change has an effect. But Father You in this race is a horse who's really been knocking at the door at these route races. 3 consecutive runner-up finishes, all with jockey Joe Crispin. The horse was 9-5 last time and still finished second. 8-5 on the morning line. This is the kind of horse that I think a lot of times, it could be a question of they've just been getting beat by one horse, each time that maybe it's just a little bit better than they are. Maybe it's a matter of him now finding his friends, but I really, truly believe sometimes these horses, they get into the pattern of finishing second. They run their race, but then they kind of just wait till that last one, to let them get ahead. It's almost like it's like an instinctual thing. They don't like to win. And I think Father You could be one of those kind of horses. You look at his lifetime record, 19 starts, 1 win, 5 second-place finishes and 2/3. So certainly always going to be a contender in the race, but this might be the kind of favorite that you want to try to take a chance and beat. So it'll be interesting to see what happens again coming up on Tuesday here at Portland Meadows. 9-race cards, some nice full fields, some great betting opportunities, and big pools on a Tuesday with a lot of the other tracks not running because of the holiday that happened on President's Day. So we hope to see you out at the track on Tuesday for the Portland Meadows daily YouTube video. I'm track announcer Jason Beam. We hope everybody has a great day, and we hope to see you out at the track very soon.